Hello, guys. It's Harriet Mugweru. I'm here again to give you my story of how I became an amputee. But before we do that, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much for those who watched my videos, those who shared, those who subscribed. I really got a lot of love. And kindly, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and God bless you. So I hope you get to learn something from my story. I hope you get encouraged. Those who are not encouraged, I hope you just get some strength from my story. So the year is 2019, March 16th. I am actually marking 2 years since I got amputated today. So March 16th, it was on a Saturday. So I was coming from work. I used to work as a receptionist. Used to, that's the word. I am no longer there. So I used to work as a receptionist, and we used to work on Saturdays too. So I came from work. I used to work in Gigiri, so I came to town and I had to get another matatu to Embakasi. So from town, when I was in town, I thought of going shopping. Then my on my way there, I was like, no, I don't have enough cash on me, so let me just go back and go home. So I went back to the stage and I boarded a bus that was not full but also had guys. So I sat behind the driver. It's the bus that has 3 seats on one side and 2 seats on the other side. So I sat behind, immediately behind the driver, the middle seat. So there was a guy on my right and there was a lady on my left. And this guy on my left, on my right, sorry, he had built up a little bit. He was a little bit big. So he kept on halfway to through our journey, he kept on squeezing me and pushing me. So I moved a little bit forward, and the lady who was on my left, she was also quite big, so I couldn't sit totally to the back. So this guy, because he was so nagging, I put on my earphones and started watching a movie. One hand was holding my phone, and the other hand, my left hand was I was holding on to the rail that is behind the driver. So where the journey was okay, this guy kept on. He was making calls throughout the journey. I think he was going for a party. He kept on saying he's coming, he's on his way. Guys shouldn't start without him. And the lady beside me was reading the Bible. She was reading Psalms. I can't remember the chapter, but I remember it was the book of Psalms. So all through the journey, me watching my movies, I couldn't notice anything. And all of a sudden, like, if you know the road to Embakasi, you know where Tuskys is, you know where Coca-Cola is. When we got there, this guy was really speeding, the driver was really speeding up. And immediately after, there's an army barracks there, so the guy there's someone who needed to alight. And the driver, because of the high speed, he couldn't control himself because he was in the innermost lane, he was on the right lane, and guys needed to alight, so he needed to come to the left lane. So when he tried to come to the left lane, there was a saloon car, a small car that if he followed the car, he would have hit the car. So for him, him trying to avoid hitting the car, he went off the road. And off the road with that high speed meant that he couldn't really control the car. So that's why and how the bus turned. It overturned to the left. So I was thrown, I and the other passengers, I think we were thrown to the left side. And I think because of the impact, and I think I hit something, I got a crash injury where my hand is amputated. So I didn't black out, but I also remember screaming the name of Jesus from the way I saw him swerve from the right to the left. I remember screaming Jesus, and it nothing. I think I missed out in like a second, because all now I remember is me waking up, not really waking up, but hearing guys, the Boda Boda guys calling us, Madam Pitiapa, and I was like, no, I'm not going through there. I went through the windscreen, and because it was all shattered. So I walked out with my phone in my hand, because it had that carrying that we put at the back of the phone. So I went out, sat on the pavement, and while going out, I noticed that my hand was heavy. It wasn't painful. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel any pain, but I just couldn't control my hand the way I'm used to. And I lifted it up like a bag, like a paper bag. That's what I keep on saying. I lifted it up like a paper bag, and when I sat on the pavement, I placed it on my lap. And at this time, I had worn a white dress and some sweater, so it was all bloody, and the sweater was cut, so you could see the blood gushing out. And I started screaming. I wasn't screaming because of the pain that I was feeling, but I was screaming because I'm seeing blood. I don't know what's happening to me. I can't feel anything, but I'm all bloody. And at that time, while we were seated there at the pavement, I think I and the lady who was next to me, she hit her chest. And we sat at the pavement, and the Boda Boda guys started asking the guys who were driving by to give us lifts to hospital. And a very nice couple, husband and his wife, passed by, and they were like, we'll take you guys. So I think I was amongst the first people who was taken to hospital. And the lady, okay, I entered first, and the lady came and sat next to me, and she was screaming her chest. I was screaming my hand, not because I'm feeling pain, but because my hand is just there like a piece of meat. Only some flesh was attaching from this where it was cut. And I went on my way there. I called my then fiance, who's now my husband. I called him and I told him, babe, I've gotten into an accident. And he was like, okay, you've gotten into an accident, and how are you able to call me? I'm serious, babe, I've gotten into an accident, and we are being taken to KQ clinic. And he couldn't believe, because how did you get into an accident and you're still able to make phone calls? And I gave the lady, the co-driver, the wife of the man who took us to hospital, the phone, and she was like, yes, she's serious. She's gotten into an accident, and we are taking them to a clinic for first aid. So please, if you can come, please come very fast. And when we got there, I was taken as an emergency, because I think I had lost a lot of blood. And I was taken for the first aid. They tried to stabilize or put my hand firm so that it doesn't move, maybe to cause more damage. So they put some things on my side and tried to wrap it so that it would bleed. And at that time, my husband called my sister-in-law, and because they lived nearby, and she came very fast. And when she saw me, she cried, she screamed, and she thought that I was really hurt. But I was talking because of the white dress. I think she saw maybe I was hurt somewhere else, maybe my organ, something. Maybe I was bleeding from inside, and she was taken out. After not a long time, my husband came, and he called my brother-in-law, and they came, and I was rushed to Mata Hospital. Then when I reached Mata Hospital, I was received by a very nice doctor. Uh, I can't remember his name, but I later came to know that he is a friend of our friend. When he saw me, he in his head he already knew that this was not good because of the way the crash was, but he kept on encouraging me. Oh, you're going to be okay, don't worry, we've dealt with this before, you just think about all the positive things, you're going to be okay. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be okay. And after some time, my family started coming because they were a bit far. My mom was far, my dad was a bit far, so they all came. And by the time they came, I was supposed to go for an emergency surgery. So by the time they came, I had already signed, not knowing whatever I am signing up for. Maybe at that time I would have even signed up for my arm to be amputated, but I didn't know. So when they came, I was wheeled into the theater, and they put a plate from where my arm is amputated to the other piece of my arm. So they put a plate there. I had a very good team of doctors that attended to me, and I really appreciate that. Mata Hospital really did a lot to try and save my arm. So they put a plate, and I was okay. After hours of surgery, I was taken back to the ward, and my family was able to see me. So at that time, I'm still okay. I'm still telling stories. I haven't really seen the impact of whatever has happened, but everyone was shocked knowing that we have seen this lady in the morning and she was okay, and right now we are seeing her in hospital. It really became a shocker to my family and friends, even my fiance then. So after some time, they noticed that the arm was getting blood clots and there was no proper circulation. So I was taken for another surgery to try and improve the circulation, remove the clots. And while there, I met a really nice lady. Her name is Ngesa. Hi, Ngesa. So I met this lady, Ngesa, and I kept on asking her, Ngesa, have you dealt with a case like this? And she encouraged me a lot. We tell stories before and after my surgeries. And she told me, you don't worry. We have dealt with something like this. You remember the doctor who attached her hand to a boy who went to hospital with his hand separate from his body? He's part of your team, and he's going to do everything that he can to try and save your arm. And I believed her a lot. And I kept on, everything that I kept on, the only thing that I kept on telling her is that, yes, I'm engaged, I'm supposed to get married. How am I even going to? I need to put a ring on this hand, so please do anything that you can to save my arm. And she was like, no problem. But the main doctor, when he came, he was like, ah, only a ring. If this guy loves you, he is going to put a ring even on your toe fingers. And it was funny because they kept on saying it as a joke. Anapenda hata kwa vidole za miguu. So they were awesome, awesome. So 3 surgeries later to try and save the arm, to try and improve the circulation. The circulation still wasn't there, and my arm was getting bad. It was really cold, it was really dark, it was just infected, it was bad, really bad. And this being the 3 surgeries to try and improve the circulation, plus the first surgery that I got as an emergency when I got into hospital. Those were a total of 4 surgeries. So this was in a week. And I was okay. There's even a day that I was being dressed hourly for 24 hours. Every single hour, a nurse could come and uh, redress my wound to try and improve the circulation. But when the doctor came to with a nurse to check my arm, he was like, okay, let's see what we're going to do. But when he was going away, it wasn't intentional for me to hear what he was saying. But when he was going away, he told the nurse, if this isn't okay by tomorrow, I think you're going to amputate. This was on Saturday night. And me hearing that, I cried the whole night. And the next day, I called my brother in law and I told him, I heard Kibuga saying that we are going to amputate. Why is he saying that? But he was like, no, let me come and talk to him and see what happened. And they came and talked. So this is on Sunday at 1. I'm almost having my lunch. It was just brought, and it being a Sunday, family and friends, they were all over. I had guys were visiting me so much. I could like feel my space of the hospital bed plus the other patients' space just with my friends and family. So this time they came, my food was there and I was almost eating, and the nurse came and is like, we need to see the family. The doctors are coming to see the family and you. So if you're not family, please leave. And I was okay. I was used to seeing doctors all over me, so it didn't come as a shocker that they wanted to see me. But I asked questions when they told me to not to eat, and the doctors came. They were all over me, so I was lying, looking at everyone. The doctors are here, and my family is here. Uh, so they started removing the bandages, the dressing, and they started explaining to my family, you see what is happening here, this hand, we cut it here so that we could improve the circulation, but you see this dark things, these black things, this are infection, and it's called sepsis. And within no time we are likely to, if we are able to improve the circulation of this hand, the the sepsis might move into her body from where it is. It might be carried by the blood into the rest of her body, and maybe even her organs could start getting infected, and they could start failing because of the sepsis. It didn't hit me then, but I was still in my world. I was still gazing at my family, and what hit me is when I started seeing my family members just uh, each taking a step back. And the doctor eventually said, and now because of this, if we give you 24 hours, your body will get infected and your organs will start failing. And this could take place in 24 hours. So within that time, we need to amputate. And he told me, Harriet, we need to amputate your hand because of this. It still didn't hit me. I was I waited for the reaction of my family members. So they even started, is this the only solution? Have you done everything? And they explained, and me lying there, not knowing what to say. Uh, I was okay until they left, and I was like, oh, this is really happening. I am really going to do what I was very scared of when I came here. So uh, my mom cried, her eyes out. My dad on his side crying. My fiance there, his eyes were so red in disbelief. And now then it hit me, and I started also crying. Not crying because of myself, how I'm going to look, how I'm going to do my things, but crying because of everyone else. I'm this person who, before then, I used to think about everyone else before me. I used to put everyone else before me. I think till now I still do. So I started crying, asking, how am I going to carry my nieces and nephew? How am I going to do beadwork? Because before then I used to do some beadwork and even sell them. I used to consider that my talent. I used to do so many things with my hand. I used to like cut clothes and even sew them with my hand. So I was like, God, why are you taking away my talent? And I cried asking why me. And there's this lady who is very special to me and to our family. And I asked her, Mom, why is God doing this to me? Why is He doing this only to me? Why me at this time after leaving? I think this is my prime age because by then I was 27 years. I had just turned 27 years old. So this lady asked me that if it wasn't you, who would you choose to go through this? And I won't lie to you guys, I thought about it. I even thought of my enemies, my friends, and even family members. I thought, who am I going to give this challenge to? And no one came to mind. I was like, I think I'm the only strong person who can go through this. Because before then, I used to be the one who'd support everyone, the one who'd be sent to the rescue of my sister who is sick and she's not able to eat or she doesn't want to eat. I'd be sent by my parents and I'd make her eat, stay with her for some time, and then go back home. I'm the one who would go visit friends and encourage them. So I didn't have anyone in mind at that time who would go through what I've gone through and I'd be okay with it. So after some time thinking about it, I called my shushu and told her shushu they're going to cut my arm because of what happened. And she was like, no, don't let them cut it. I'm going to pray for you. I'm coming tomorrow. Please tell them to wait. And I had already made up my mind simply because my big sister Marian, she had gone through something in the past, in some years before my ordeal, and she had gotten a sepsis infection, and which had taken her almost to ICU. She had gone to HDU, and from the way I saw her then, I couldn't allow my family to go through that again. So it was, other than me asking those questions, it was quite easy for me to accept and say, it's okay, cut my arm. And yes, I was prepared for the theater. I did eat the delicious food. So I signed the papers myself and I was like, Mom, let me sign. Come, I'm going to theater. They're like, are you really, really going to do this? I was like, yes, I am doing it. And yeah, 20. I was wheeled into the theater and I think it was around 6 in the PM, and I stayed there for hours and hours and hours. So guys tell me that I stayed there until 10. I can't remember, but I remember it was at night, and when I came out, my family was all there. Some friends were still there waiting to see how I'm going to come out because they had being amputated. This was a very, very new thing to our family and friends. So after some time, after all those hours, I was wheeled out. We're in a lot of pain because I could hear I could feel it's like saws were cutting into my bone continuously. For it was really, really painful, like the most painful thing that I've ever experienced.